Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup though. Got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup though. Got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup though.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
A guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin to lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to PSGL F4 here for what should be a fantastic... what's going on with my camera? That's the big question right now. My camera is not really moving. We hate to see that. Give me just 2 seconds, guys. Let me sort that out quickly, and there we go. I don't know what happened there. My camera froze. But hello, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year and welcome to PSGL F4 here on the PlayStation TS. My name is, of course, Michael Edwards. Joined alongside me again for a brand new year of racing is the one and only Quinn. Quinn, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good, of course. We are in 2024 now, which still seems very weird for me to say, but yeah, continuing on this season here in F4 at Spain, and yeah, just excited to get, well, this second half of the season up and running.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we are at Spain tonight, so let's take a little quick look at the track map. Of course, the circuit, Barcelona, Catalonia, 2.8, almost 2.9 miles, 4.6 kilometers, 14 corners, 2 DRS zones, one down in towards turn number 1 and one down in towards turn number 10. Of course, layout and everything has changed in recent years. Of course, taking away that horrible chicane from the final sector that everyone knows and everyone hates, and I'm glad they took that away. But yeah, I mean, this should be a very interesting race here tonight. Of course, let's give you a quick reminder of what happened last time we went racing a few weeks ago in Singapore. Of course, it was Rara taking pole position, but it was ETA Azim taking a victory in the end, and Rara coming through to finish in P2. So Mr. Consistent as always, NLR Rara. Giovanno comes through to complete the podium in P3. Lorenzino came through in P4. And then we had Lauren T in P5, reserve driver, again 6 points. Good going there for Lauren. And of course, we had Kuhlman in 6th, Sasha in 7th, Tiramisu in 8th, Ticho in 9th, and Nico rounding out the final point paying position with the fastest lap of the race going to last, of course, a lap down. And what that has done in the standings, we will look at now. So it is Rara who takes the lead in the championship. He's on 61 points now, 10 points clear of Nico in second place. And Nico, past couple of races, has had a few slip-ups here and there, and he's dropped down the order. Of course, a P14 in Austria, a P6 in Italy, and of course a P10 last time out in Singapore. He has gone from having a pretty commanding lead down to 10 points behind Rara.
Yeah, and it's not been great last few races for Nico, and just looking at these first few times, Nico did have the fastest time, but of course one man has gone faster than him is Rara, gone over 3 times faster.
Yeah, of course, we are midway, well, we are through, well, about 5 minutes into qualifying right now, so we'll get you over to the track as quickly as possible. But of course, in the championship, Rara does lead on 61 points, 51 points for Nico in second place. Azim closing up the gap with the race victory last time out, closes up now P3 on 46 points, 44 points for Giovanno in P4, 43 points for Lorenzino in P5, Kuhlman in P6 on 39 points, and a bit of a gap back to Havmik in P7 on 28 points, and another little gap back to the likes of Sasha and Paul in 8th and 9th, both on 20 points apiece. And then, of course, 19 points for Tiramisu, rounding out the top 10. And another thing that we do have to maintain as well, and it has been the case over the course of the season, The race winner's curse has yet to be broken so far in the season. Every single time someone has won a race, the next race hasn't gone particularly well for them. Of course, Sasha, who did win in Italy for round number 6, didn't race in round number 7, so no points scored there. But what that has done is obviously mix things up in the standings. But of course, let's have a look at the constructors now. As we got Rara and Paul in the Williams pairing. Of course, leading the way on 81 points. 7 points clear of the Alpha Tauris of Havmik and Azim in second place. And a very close battle between these guys. Of course, it does say 2 race victories back to back for the Alpha Tauris, I believe, if my memory serves me right. Yeah, it was Havmik, and then yeah, it was Havmik who won in Italy, and then yeah. So, yeah, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, Havmik and Azim 7 points behind in P2 on 74 points. 67 points for the Haas F1 team on 67 points in P3. Then, of course, we've got the Alpines on 55 points. The Aston Martins on 43. 32 points for the Alfa Romeos in P6. 31 points for the Mercedes in P7. And then, of course, P8, we have the Red Bull Racing team on 15 points. 11 points for the McLaren F1 team. And then, of course, rounding up the rear is the Scuderia Ferraris there in the back. And honestly, I think without further ado, we should jump into the action that's going on in qualifying, because we are about 8 minutes into qualifying now. So let's go ahead and head out to the track itself. And hopefully everyone is able to hear the game audio and well, because we was having some Elgato issues, which is why we was a little bit late on getting the stream up and going. But we got James Head in the chat saying, evening lads, hope you both have a good one. Of course, James Head will be bringing you the action with Jess later tonight for PSGL F1 on the PlayStation TS. But on board with Nico now, with DRS wide open as we run down in towards turn number 1. Looking for the perfect run through turns 1 and 2 to really set yourself up for turn 3. A little bit deep on entry into turn 1. That definitely would have compromised him, and I think already potentially the lap aborted.
Yeah, the red light's already flashing. He aborted that lap too deep into turn 1. Yeah, it's just confidence thing. If you don't get your turn 1 right, you're going to be losing time the whole lap, but that's Ticho with an illegal blocking.
Yeah, of course.
Not this again.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is one of the issues that does plague the multiplayer, where you do get the illegal blockings. I'm currently on board with Giovanno right now, coming through turn number 4, marginally up on his first sector split as we break down into turn number 5. The left-hander, making sure you get good traction out there as you go for the left-hand kink at turn number 6 into the quick little left-right of turn 7 and 8 as you climb up the hill towards turn 9. Important to keep your foot in through this corner, because it really does help you out with DRS on the run down in towards turn number 10. Let's have a look in the middle sector split. Over at 10th up in the middle sector for Giovanno. Currently in P10 here in qualifying as we come through the final sector through turn number 12 now. Now this is going to be a key through 13. How much speed does he carry through 14 now? And very well taken for Giovanno as he comes to the line. It's up to P2, front row right now for TF10 Giovanno.
Yeah, it's a very solid lap from Giovanno there, but you got to think it's going to take a lot to catch Rara here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's currently improving. He is currently on a lap, and he is, well, marginally down on his first lap time, but he was marginally up in the first sector, so even he's struggling to beat the banker lap that he set. So that shows how good the lap was.
Yeah, absolutely. As we got Rara now coming through the final corner. What can the Williams driver do? The championship leader improves on his time by 1,000th of a second. So it's an improvement, but it's an improvement, but it's not a massive improvement. Sasha.
It's exactly the same lap time.
Sasha has just absolutely pipped him. No, he's done a 10.5. So Sasha now
Very
up
good.
there. As Ticho goes up into P3, Lorenzino moves up ahead of Giovanni as well, up into P4. As we're going to go on board with NLR Kuhlman now. And Kuhlman has been one of those drivers that's just been, he's been consistent this season.
Yeah, he really has. Been really consistent, and then, as you can see there, it's already quite a big improvement in Sector 1 for Coolman. That can, if he continues that rate, he can easily find himself on the front row.
Yeah, I mean, Kuhlman has been consistent in some of his drives this season. He's definitely had the pace to score consistent points now. Not every race has gone his way though, but one person who races have gone his way and has been consistently scoring points has been the championship leader, and that is of course NLR Rara. So Rara definitely will get the the most consistent driver in F4 award as it currently stands. But on board with Kuhlman now coming through the final corner to the line, DRS wide open, and it's P5 for Kuhlman.
Yeah, it was a good consistent lap for him. And just going back to Rara, did say they had a improvement, but he set exactly the same lap time as his first lap.
Well, I mean,
down to the thousandth of a second, he set exactly the same lap time.
well, I mean, Rara will be happy to know that he has his teammate back with him once again, ET8 Paul. And we've seen what's happened between the Williams drivers over the course of the season, where it's usually Paul that gets the short end of the stick when it comes to pit stop phases. Rara sometimes with a 5-second time penalty or pitting just in front of his teammate as Paul goes up into P5. Good lap there from the Williams driver. And yeah, I mean, Paul needs a good result to really outscore his teammate here tonight, and maybe hope to not get done over by his teammate in the pit stop phases.
Yeah, it's definitely, and that's Tiago now with 5-place grid drop. Well, yeah, the two Ferraris are a pretty good qualifying session here. Of course, George Ansel will believe he aborted his fast lap, unless, yeah, I believe it's actually an in-lap, sorry. An in-lap for George Ansel, but P10 and P11 for the two Ferraris, of course. Both of the Ferraris have had races played with incidents, be that lap 1 in the middle of the race. So, yeah, it's good to see both of the Ferraris having a relatively good qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely, but there'll be one man in the Red Bull racing car that will be looking to break up that little oven, and that is, of course, ET8 Tiago, currently down in 16th place on a 11.1, almost 11.2. Needs to find a decent amount of time if he wants to be up there ahead of the Scuderias. He's found almost 700ths of a second in the first sector as we now come breaking down in towards turn number 5. Turn number 5, definitely an area where we see a lot of overtakes happen, because it's one of those corners where you can get away with a little bit of a lunge down the inside, and you could potentially get a move done there, because it's pretty much a very key traction zone, I'd say, turn number 5.
Yeah, definitely is a key traction zone. It's got that. It got the out of that corner. You got the, of course, very tricky uphill sort of chicane, and then you just got the flat out section with the DRS. So if you want to get a good run into the DRS zone, you've got to get good traction out of that corner. As Tiago opts to come into the pits.
Yeah, and Thomas goes up into P8. We've got Nico now coming through to take his next lap, and he goes up into P3. 2 tenths improvement there from Nico. I mean, Tiramisu currently down there at the back of the field. We got Frank, who's already out of the session, which is unfortunate for him. We have just over 3 minutes to go in the session. We're around about 3.5 minutes left in the session. So these guys that are on track right now potentially could be hard pressed to get out for their final runs.
Yeah, definitely. I think, well, at least for Tiramisu, it's going to be the last run, and I believe Lars is just going to be starting his lap, and Thomas, I think he's just starting a lap as well behind. I believe.
No, Thomas
Yeah,
just
there's a
finished
few
his lap.
people.
Sasha's going to be the first man to get us underway, but Sasha now going to cross the start finish line and look to improve on the 1 minute 10.5 provisional pole position time that is currently held by the Alfa Romeo driver. A race winner this season in Sasha, looking to make it another race win. Of course, for Sasha, the last race win that Sasha was able to pick up was, of course, round number 3 at Hungary. It's been back-to-back DNFs, so DNS as he didn't start in Italy, and then, of course, a 7th place finish in Singapore. He'll be looking to get himself back onto the top step of the podium here tonight, that is for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's been quite a, well, since his win, it's been quite a very inconsistent season for Sasha, so hopefully he can bring back that consistency after the Christmas and New Year's break. As that's now Laurent now with the 5 race grid drop. But yeah, back on Sasha, he's for the last quarter being very tidy. Will it be an improvement? It will not, but it's still quite close to his original time.
And Nico's session is done. Obviously, Thomas' session done, Frank's session done, Tiramisu session done, Lars' session done. As we are now gearing up for pretty much what is going to be the final runs. I believe we've got Mustache on a lap right now coming into the middle sector split. Let's have a look what the Ferrari driver can do. Margie up, but look at the traffic in front of him though. Mustache is going to be absolutely seething right now with the amount of traffic he's got to deal with in this final sector.
Yeah, he's backed off, I think. No, he hasn't. It looked like he was backed off, but he hasn't. Yeah, it was. That traffic was quite bad, and yeah, did improve. And I believe that was actually Paul who was, well, he was blocking. Well, unintentionally, but he was blocking.
Ticho losing the back end, and of course, there's no validation there. Let's see what Rara can do, because of course Rara currently on the front row, going to be looking to climb himself on the pole position. And Rara's been a driver that hasn't yet taken a race win to my knowledge, as I'm just quickly going to double check that, because I don't think he has. I just think he's been consistent. Yeah, 3 4th place finishes, 3 2nd place finishes, and a P10 finish at, of course, Vegas. Ooh. Yep. Well, not happy as Nico actually has just managed to get himself on a lap at the perfect time, right at the checker flags. We'll come back on board with Nico later on into the session, as we've got a Red Bull of Thiago coming to the line right now. So we'll go on board with Thiago. No improvement there. We got a Williams of Paul. We got an Alpine of Koolman, and then we got the Williams of Paul coming to the line. And it's P4 for Koolman. What can Paul do as he comes to the line? Oh, he's improved, but he definitely had a bit more time there. He lost a bit in the final sector. Lorenzino in the final sector now, as he has an Alfa Romeo in behind him. Let's remember also Nico still on the lap as well, and I think he's going slow in the middle sector. So yeah, I think Nico's session over and done with. Lorenzino to the line, and it is marginally slower. George coming into the pits, and now we got Tiramisu, the last of the runners, and yeah, he's backed out. He's into the pits. He's going to settle for P18 here tonight, and of course that is going to bring the end here at the qualifying. I do believe we'll probably get a restart lobby, just for the simple fact that we've had so many 5-place grid penalties, and some of them are, definitely contestable, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just gonna check. Just gonna check in the chat.
Yeah, we'll get confirmation for you guys in due course. But of course, it is Sasha, the man who is on the top step of the qualifying times, and with a 10.5. Is this Sasha's time once again? But we'll run you through the order. It is, of course, Sasha who takes pole position ahead of Rara in second place, Nico in P3, Paul in P4, Wakuman in P5, Ticho in P6, with Lorenzino in P7, Giovanno in P8, Mustache in P9, and Thomas rounding out the top 10. Outside the top 10, of course, we got Fashion Gold, Laurenti, George Ansel, Harrison in 14th, Lars in 15th, Tiago in 16th, Frank in 17th, and of course Tiramisu going to be rounding out the final position there at the back, as I'm quickly going to make sure that I get a screenshot here for our esteemed lobby host, just in case he does need it. I believe he may end up needing it, but yeah, that is how qualifying has come to an end. It was, of course, Sasha who did take pole position, and a very good job as well from Sasha regarding all that.
Yeah, it was a very good lap from Sasha there, but he's going to have Paul right next to him, and Paul will want to... Well, no, sorry, Rara right next to him. He's going to have... It's going to be... Well, you know what Rara's like. He's going to be applying the pressure every step of the way.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, it's going to be interesting off the line.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, what we'll do, we'll take what's called our intermission break right now, and then we'll be back in just a few moments. So, bear with us. We'll be back in a minute. And including the technical issues, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I did just start talking. I was talking for a good while, and I did not realize that my microphone was muted. So thank you to OPIGs in the chat for letting me know. I do apologize, but hopefully we can get Quinn back in as soon as possible. And because I think we go. We were sorted. I guess he was waiting for me to unmute my mic and that to bring me back in, but I actually left my mic muted, which is unfortunate. It's absolutely shameful, actually. I have no words. All I can do is apologize, guys. But we can run you through the order here in qualifying. Again, it was, of course, Sasha who did take pole position. A good pole position to start off the new year for Shizu Sasha in the Alfa Romeo car. And we're going to see if he's got the pace to go on and take victory from this point.
Yeah, it's going to be, well, I think it's going to be very difficult for Sasha to keep people like Rara in, because, like I was saying before, Rara likes to, well, he just likes to keep the pressure on of anyone who's in front of him, really. So it's going to be closely contested at the front. Not sure who's going to win, but it's going to be entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. Rara is going to be a driver to be concerned about, but also in behind Rara and Sasha on that front row. I mean, on the second row, we got Nico. Of course, Nico, a multiple race winner this season. We got Paul, who's consistently up there, but when it comes to the pit stop phases, that's when he falls away. And then you got Coolman, who's got very good consistent pace. You got Ticho in the Red Bull in P6. He can be very good on his day as well. Lorenzino, who's been steadily going about his business so far this season, and he's climbing up the order very well indeed. Just a quick reminder of the standings as they currently stand, just so you guys can see. It is, of course, Rara who does lead the way, Nico in second place, Azim in third, Giovanno in fourth. But you can see, look at Lorenzino's results of recent weeks. Obviously a P5 in Vegas, P3 in Austria, back-to-back P4s in Italy, and of course Singapore last time out in round number 7. Lorenzino has been putting together a very consistent middle phase of the championship.
Yeah, it definitely has, and he's going to be someone that the guys ahead are going to be, well, keeping an eye on, really. It's going to be just very difficult for guys to keep at the front to keep him behind, because, as you said, his consistency has been, well, he's getting ever more increasingly consistent as the season's gone on. So yeah, hopefully he can get onto the podium for this race and really start applying pressure on the guys ahead of him in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, when it comes to the consistencies so far this season of a couple of the drivers, of course, in terms of the most consistent driver is definitely Rara at the moment, 3 P4s, 3 P2s, and a P10 points finishes throughout the entire season. But there are 2 more drivers that have scored points in every single race that they've competed in so far this season. And that's, of course, Azim in P3 and, of course, Giovanni in P4. So, I mean, we talk about consistency. Those 2 guys, they've been consistent, but maybe just missing the races that they have missed so far this season, letting them down in the championship. As I believe we have lost.
Sorry.
no, he's back.
Yeah, considering the start of season that Giovanni had, it was very difficult for him to sort of get back on track, but he has, and very good for him.
I believe we potentially might be having some Discord issues. It has been an issue in recent weeks, and our Discord cutting out, so we hope that Discord will allow us for tonight. But yeah, I mean, consistency wise, I mean, Giovanni picked up the race, win the first race of the season, was able to take victory in Suzuka. Since then, obviously a P10 in Qatar after an incident early on, and then of course for the rest of the season he's been thereabouts fighting for podiums, and then round number 7 last time out in Singapore he did manage to get that podium. So is this the start of something special now for the final few races of the season? Remember, only 4 more rounds to go here in season 35. Of course, we go to Spain, and then of course we travel to, I believe Miami next, if I'm not mistaken. As we'll take a quick actually we won't take a quick look at the calendar, because everyone has readied up and looks like we are about to get ourselves back underway. And yeah, let's hope for a very interesting race. And we got Samuel King in the chat saying, how does one hang on 2 seconds, how does one get to race in these races? Well, you would, I believe, I'm not sure if the mid-season sign-ups are still open. I think they might have closed now, if I'm not mistaken. I believe you'd have to wait for the season 36 sign-ups now, but basically you sign up, and depending on your assist settings and of what you use, because of course there are no assist races for the higher formulas, like what we're doing right now, of course, in F4 and obviously F3, F2, F1. But then there's also assist tiers a little bit further down in the formula tiers. But yeah, so I believe you got to set time trial times, if I'm not mistaken, to get placed in a particular tier. But yeah, you'd have to keep your eyes wide open on the PSGL Twitter or X account as we go to those 5 red lights to get underway here for the start of the new year. Lights out, and we are underway for round number 8, and it's Sasha getting off to a pretty good start, going very defensive on Rara down in towards turn number 1. And who's that gone off in the background? Is that Harrison?
Yeah.
Harrison. Massive damage in the background there. We saw it, yellow flags out, and that is a virtual safety car here. And down the start first straight, we just saw Harrison just spear off into the wall. VSC deployed here on lap number 1.
Yeah, didn't quite catch what happened there, but yeah, it was. I just saw Harrison just spear off into the wall at the back. I'm not sure exactly what happened there with him, but yeah, having a look at the position changes, Kuhlmann had an excellent start, gaining 2 positions, as well as Thiago gaining 4 positions, and Tiramisu starting last has gone up 3. And yeah, Thomas has gone down.
Yep, Thomas dropping massively as we are back to green flag racing once again, as we're seeing battles going on in the midfield between the likes of, I believe that was Lars and George Ansel trading positions there. But we'll get the tyre selections up. Majority of the field going for a set of the hard compound tyres. The only guys that have not is, of course, Kuhlmann going for a set of soft tyres, Fresh and Gold going for a set of softs, and Lars and Tiramisu also going for a set of soft compound tyres, as Fashion Gold, I believe, just made the overtake stick on JR Ticho. Up in the P8 goes the Mercedes driver, but up towards the front, Kuhlmann all over the back of Rara, going to potentially look around the outside, try and outbrake his NLR compatriot here as he tries to find a way through. Of course, on the soft tyres, needs to make these overtakes count, and needs to get himself through as soon as possible, because those soft tyres, I mean, they're not known to last very long around Spain.
No, they're definitely a tyre to sort of veer away from, but yeah, it's the mediums that. Oh,
he sends it
what
down the
has
inside
happened there?
into turn 10. Rara trying to defend from Kuhlmann, who's going to try and hang it all the way around the outside through turn number 12. And is he able to stick it off? He's still there around the outside into 13. And that's to tuck back in towards turn number 14. So unable to get the move done there for Kuhlmann, but he's going to try again. Using the ERS. He sets the fastest lap of the race so far. Immediately beaten by Passion Gold. It's going to be free wide into turn 1. Free wide into turn 1. Surely not. I need a better camera angle. Oh my god. EA and Cody's did not give us a good camera angle there. But Kuhlmann gets the move done on Rara. Sasha's still holding on to the race lead. But for how much longer?
It's going to be very difficult for Sasha to keep Kuhlmann behind as, the faster tyre compound, but just looking at the ERS usage of Kuhlmann, the front runners, Kuhlmann's on about 40%, Sasha's on 70, Rara's on 70. Everyone else is in a good position.
I'm just going to let you know. Oh my! I think Nico's gone straight into the back of Rara there. I was just on board with Rara. Rara got a massive punt at the rear, and then Nico's out of this race. So Nico out of this race. Rara potentially with damage on the rear. This could be an absolute heartbreak for the Williams driver. I mean, he's down in P12 now.
Yeah, I really didn't catch what happened there.
By the way, what I was going to say, your microphone keeps it keeps cutting. I don't know if it's a wired microphone, but it sounds like the wire's potentially a little bit loose in it. But that was what I was going to say before Rara got absolutely sent into P12 there by, I mean, we didn't see it entirely, so we don't know whether a brake failure for Nico, we don't know whether a controller disconnected.
Yeah, it's just Nico's just gone into the F4 chat and said that his brakes failed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, it's unfortunate for Nico. I mean, he definitely would have been hoping for a good result here, as we are.
It's a good restart for Laurent. Very good restart for Laurent, getting past Moustache, but it's still going side by side, and that's actually, he's dropping back. He gained the position on Moustache, but then he's lost the position to Moustache and
contact between
Tiago, and now Rara. Very close.
I mean, I'm getting a fantastic glitch at the moment. It is still yellow flags for me.
Oh yeah, it's still yellow flags.
But I can assure you guys, we are back. We are racing. It is green flag conditions. Do not be alarmed. Hopefully, there we go. Yeah, green on track, and we are all sorted once again. But it is Sasha that leads the way. Kuhlmann in P2. And Kuhlmann yet to make that overtake happen for the race lead, and he's running out of laps before those soft tyres fall away.
Yeah, it is, and going back to Tiago and Laurent, they're still fighting away with Rara practically pushing both of them through the corners. And yeah, going on board with Laurent now. He's right. Spin for
Laurent's
Laurent.
Lost it. Up the hill at turn number 9, Laurent around, and potentially front wing damage there for the AlphaTauri. I'm not sure if Laurent actually did make contact with the wall. We'll have a quick little peek, have a little gander, and it looks like the front wing is intact. So lucky for Laurent, doesn't have to come into the pits and serve an early pit stop. But big mistake there for the AlphaTauri as Kuhlmann takes the race lead here at the beginning of lap number 6. Kuhlmann now into the race lead, but has he spent too much time behind the Alfa Romeo? That's the question, as he needs to kind of drop Sasha now.
It's going to be fairly difficult for him to do that, of course, because his soft tyres are going to start to wear away round about now. We're going to start feeling a little bit worse for wear now, and in about 3 or 4 laps time they're going to be verging on the edge of the cliff. So yeah, it's going to be quite difficult. It's going to be interesting to see what strategy Kuhlmann goes for, but Sasha going down the inside and he gets a move done once again. Kuhlmann looking for the switchback, but Sasha late move to cover him and almost ended in disaster, but it was, yeah, good save there from Sasha, but yeah, did just move over to defend it a little bit late, and he made contact with Paul.
Here comes Paul now. He's used a bit of DRS and he's trying to make an overtake up, and he's going to follow Kuhlmann through into P2 as side by side. A little bit of a lag spike there, but looks like Sasha's going to hold on to P2. This is not what Sasha needs. He does not need to be battling these guys behind. He wants to kind of stick onto the back of Kuhlmann, because Kuhlmann's tyres, they are on the 7th lap right now, and they potentially will be beginning to start to get to the point where it's not ideal to be on the sauce anymore. As Sasha now underneath the rear end of Kuhlmann. Will he be looking for that move into turn 10 once again? DRS wide open. Is he going to look for it? No, he's going to sit in behind Kuhlmann this time around, and that is ideal. But you can see right now the amount of grip those hard tyres have right now compared to these soft tyres in front. And oh, big snap there from Kuhlmann. The pressure starting to mount for the Alpine driver, and those tyres potentially are falling away from him as we begin lap number 8. And Sasha will go through up into the back into the race lead. Here comes Paul. Paul's going to go through. Lorenzino's going to hold it in P4, I think. Giovanno side by side with Fashion Gold, as Giovanno down the inside into turn number 1. Job done there for the Haas.
From Giovanno, but Fashion Gold is right back on.
Apologies for the audio issues right now, guys. I believe some headset issues is going on with my co-com at the moment. Unfortunately, it keeps cutting in and out. Potentially a loose wire in the headset, perhaps, but we will try to persevere the best that we can. As we are on lap number 8 of 33. Sasha leads the way from ETA Paul in second place. NLR Kuhlmann going here in P3, as Chicho has just made a move on Fashion Gold for P6, so these soft tyres are beginning to fall away, as now Fashion Gold is dropping back, and there's a 3-second gap from Fashion Gold down to Lars in P8, and Lars is going to be a sitting duck right now. As Kuhlmann falling further and further behind Paul and Sasha, as Paul's going to sit in behind Sasha for the time being. Rara back up into a respectable P8 after the incident early on with Nico. Of course, Nico's brakes failing on him as he careered into the back, and what is Lars doing? That is Spain redefined right there, as Lars there took an alternative line through turn number 3, and not ideal there for the McLaren driver, but I'm guessing that it's just the lack of grip on the soft compounder tyres as he careers off wide through turn number 3. Mustache closing in onto the back of the McLaren as well, and hopefully my co-com is back and ready to go, as Lorenzino down the inside going to get through on Giovanno. Giovanno with a nice little switch back there, as he's going to try and hold it around the outside turn 12. No, backs out. Quinn, are you all good now?
Hello, is that better?
Yeah, that is better. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think the connection, what's called loose wire, is just like disconnecting you mid-conversation and everything, and we're getting a little bit of static every now and then. But yeah, hopefully that is all sorted now, and we're able to continue this commentary as we're on lap number 10. Kuhlmann doing a very good job right now, holding on to P3 and staying within DRS of the two in front of him. But we are starting to see now the soft tyres fall away from these guys.
Yeah, the 4 drivers on the soft tyres right now, they're really going to start struggling, and with 23 laps to go, you're going to have to Well, try and eke out as little life as you can in in these next few laps to try and get to a point where you can put the hards on.
Yeah, and fortunately for Rara now, he's got himself in a position where he's got a little bit of free air now to push into. After the incident he had with Nico at the start of the race, where unfortunately Nico's brake pedals unfortunately disconnected on him, he's been managing to carve his way back for the field. He's into P8 now. He has a 2.5 second gap of free air to push into, and he has a soft runner in behind that shouldn't pose too much of a threat as Paul takes the race lead for the Williams team. And could this be ET8 Paul's night as his luck finally turned around in this championship season?
It could definitely have, as well. He hasn't got his teammate to screw him over in the pit stop, so yeah, I think it could definitely be Paul's time, but we're only a third of the way through this race, just over, so anything can happen still with 2/3 of the race left to race.
Yeah, absolutely. Lap 11 of 33. We are a third of the way through this race. Paul leads the way from Sasha in second place. Koolman doing a good job on those soft tyres, keeping it in P3 for the time being, but as the laps go on, these soft tyres are just going to get worse and worse, and they will eventually fall away. Lorenzino in a very good position right now in P4. Of course, a driver that's been having some very good results in recent races, and he has been climbing up the championship order, the championship standings, but I mean, he's in a very good position. Obviously, Nico out of this race. You got Rara down in P8 with no DRS to kind of help him along in this race. It's just good points for these guys to kind of close the gap on the front runners in the championship.
Yeah, definitely, and especially for, well, Koolman, if he can, well, he's obviously going to get an undercut on the front two, and even Lorenzino behind him, but yeah, those guys are going to be in a much better tyre come the end of the race, so it's tricky to call where Koolman is actually going to finish.
Yeah, I mean, I think potentially Koolman might be thinking about trying to stretch his softs as long as possible, to potentially go into a set of mediums and do a soft medium sink. So
yeah,
maybe that is the strategy for the Alpine driver right now. He's in a very good position, he's in the DRS train. So all he's got to do is just make sure he's not taking a huge amount of his tyres lap in, lap out, and just keep it nice, cool, calm and consistent. That is all Koolman wants at this moment in time. But we'll begin lap number 13, and with DRS, Koolman still in P3. Lorenzino is getting closer to the back of him, so that could become an issue for the Alpine very soon, as the grip on those hard tyres will just allow Lorenzino to battle side by side and get into places where Koolman does not really want to be losing time in.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure on the back of Koolman from Lorenzino, as we're seeing right now. Down goes half-hearted.
Yeah, half-hearted attempt there from Lorenzino. I think that's just a hello mate, I am here, just letting you know I'm there, I'm ready to pounce. And Koolman potentially could be looking at a P4 position come the start finish straight any moment now, but with DRS he does have the ability to kind of hold his ground somewhat, but these hard tyres are just so much better than the softs right now. I mean, you're seeing Lorenzino, he's practically pushing him through the corners at this point in the race, but Koolman built himself a little bit of a gap as we come on the start finish straight, and now should be able to hold on to P3 with DRS, as we got Sasha closing in on the race lead to re-overtake Paul. Back up into P1 goes Shizu Sasha.
Yeah, it was good overtake. Sasha Koolman really struggling out of turn 1 and 2 there. Lorenzino's right on his gearbox, but still keeping ahead of him is Koolman. So even with the tyre disadvantage he has, he's still doing a good job of keeping with the front, keeping Lorenzino behind him.
Yeah, right now Koolman is keeping these guys at the front on this, and 14 laps on these soft tyres. it's definitely looking like a soft medium stint from these guys.
Yeah, it could definitely be, and all of the soft runners actually. I don't think anyone who started on the softs has actually pitted yet. Of course, going through the current pit stops, we have the bottom three are all the drivers who have made one stop. Everyone else.
Unfortunately, again, I think your microphone has cut out as we got Kuhlmann into the pits. Kuhlmann ducking into the pits here at the end of lap 14 as we begin lap number 15. And that has put Lorenzino just outside that 1 second window as Paul closing up to the back of Sasha, but not going for a move. That might just allow Lorenzino back within DRS range, and yes, it does. So Lorenzino now in DRS range, and what that's also done is also allowed Rara a 1 second gap to Mustache now, breaking that little DRS train in the midfield. And yet a set of mediums on for everyone has just come into the pits. Kuhlmann has come out in some lovely fresh air. He's come out ahead of Thomas, which is ideal for him. And Fashion Gold has come out behind Thomas, which is not what he would have wanted.
No, definitely not. He would have wanted to come out ahead of Thomas there, and he has got quite a buffer behind him to Lars, but yeah, Fashion Gold being within a second of Thomas, he would have liked to have been within a second of Kuhlmann ideally. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys on mediums are going to stack up against, well, the other guys. And that's Sasha coming in.
Yep, Sasha looking to cover off.
Yeah.
Sasha looking to cover off Kuhlmann immediately. As not only Sasha in, we got Rara in, we got Mustache in. And this could be very acute from Rara to come in and get a bit of an undercut on the guys that stayed out, because he needs to kind of close that gap to kind of get himself back into this race. And we're going to see where Kuhlmann and Sasha are going to come out relative to each other. And Sasha just about maintains the net race lead here ahead of Kuhlmann, but Kuhlmann now on equal tyres to Sasha. Now we're going to see if Kuhlmann has the pace to take the race win here tonight, or whether those soft tyres helped him out more in this race than what was earlier anticipated.
Yeah, we're just getting close. Well, just getting to the halfway point of this race, and yeah, Paul, you'd think would come into pits now.
Yeah, and just another thing as well, I mean, Rara has been jumped in the pits by Lars.
Yeah, he is still within DRS range of Lars, but yeah, Lars with that penalty also. So in the long run, it doesn't really count for much, but yeah, in the short term, Rara ahead of, well, behind Lars is going to be very interesting. Yeah, we have Sasha's
gone through. Kuhlmann's going to put a challenge into turn one with DRS. Up into the net race he goes. NLR Kuhlmann. Fashion Gold has managed to get himself ahead of well, he's managed to get himself right on the gearbox now of Lorenzino. Sorry, I should say that. As with his tyres slightly more warmed up, it does mean that Fashion Gold should have the early advantage on the start of this lap. But Lorenzino lost a lot of time by staying out an extra lap. Remember, he was within DRS range of the likes of Kuhlmann and Sasha before the pit stop phase. Now he's almost 3 seconds back. And if that's an indicator of how far back you may fall, where is the likes of Paul and Giovanni going to come out to?
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult for those two drivers.
Giovanni's in now, so we're going to see Giovanni should potentially come out close to the likes of Ticho here, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's right within the mix of Thomas and Rara.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, is Paul for a hard soft?
Potentially, as here goes Rara now up into P10, and will jump Frank in the pits as well, so now up to P9. As look at that, Lars follows Rara through with DRS down in towards turn number one, so Lars now up the order into P10, Rara in P9. Giovanno has come out of the pits and he's only around about a second up the road from Rara. Rara back within DRS range of the Haas driver in front of him. Ticho currently just on the teetering edge of DRS when it comes to Lorenzino and Fashion Gold trading positions as well. Fashion Gold now up into P5. Effectively a net podium position at this point because, of course, with Paul and George Ansel yet to make a pit stop, we do have a feeling that they will come out pretty down towards the tail end of the top 10 here. I mean, George potentially will come out closer towards the back of the field. As George is in now, that's going to release Sasha. Sasha did get DRS on George here, so should be able to defend from Coleman here down the start finish straight. As Lorenzino is going to make a move on Fashion Gold for P3. Job done there for the Aston Martin. Up into a net P3 goes Lorenzino. And there is the gap, 14.5 seconds between Sasha and Paul, and it is coming down rapidly.
Yeah, Paul will definitely need to make a stop in his next couple laps to really have any chance of potentially even getting a podium here.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the battle for P3, or net P3 I should say, obviously Lorenzino currently in P4, but fighting for a net P3 is, of course, the Aston Martin, the Mercedes of Fashion Gold. Ticho is there as well in the Red Bull, and he has Giovanno and Rara. After what happened at the start of this race involving Rara and Nico, of course, Nico's brakes failing him, careering into the back of the Williams driver, and down the order went Rara, but he's doing a fantastic job to come back into this race, and he is in this train for the podium position as we got Paul into the pits right now, and I think potentially he's going to come out behind everyone here and come out in pretty much P10 here, as Paul is going to come out behind his teammate again. So I mean, this time it wasn't Rara causing the pit stop issue for Paul, it was Paul staying out just a little bit too long.
Yeah, definitely was, and now he's got Lars right on the back of him. It's going to be very difficult as Lars's tyres are going to be much warmer and in much, better racing condition than Paul's at the moment. But yeah, he's got a big task up ahead of him, and he's going to be right at the back of a DRS train, which is not where he wants to be.
Well, I mean, Paul is running about 2 seconds off the back of this DRS train right now, so it is definitely not worked out for Paul. He needs some battling to go on up ahead. He needs the likes of Lorenzino, Fashion Gold to go side by side and slow up this train so he can get himself back within it. Right now, Kuhlmann and Sasha both having very comfortable races thus far, as Sasha currently leading the way. Kuhlmann, though, with DRS, should be able to use the DRS right now just to save up some battery and just get himself prepared for the final few laps, I think.
Yeah, he should do.
Fashion Gold and Lorenzino side by side through turn number 1 and 2. And there we go. There goes Ticho through turn number 2. And now on the outside now at turn number 3. What can the Red Bull Racing man do? As he's going to be on the ERS. He's going to draw alongside Lorenzino. Down the inside will go Lorenzino. Around the outside goes Ticho. Ticho is able to make that overtake stick. And yes, he does. Up in the P3 goes JR Ticho.
No.
As contact there between, I believe that was Rara and Giovanno there.
There was Giovanno going for a late dive and he hit into the side of Fashion Gold.
Giovanno there risking it to try and make some positions up, but instead has lost out as Rara now up into P6, and Lorenzino overtaken by Ticho. What a double overtake that was from Ticho. Made that work out for him. Side by side action between Lorenzino and Fashion Gold through turn number 1. Lorenzino squeezing Fashion Gold through turn number 2, and that allowed Ticho to get the move done on the Mercedes and then have the confidence to go around the outside. But with DRS now, Lorenzino is going to come straight back at him and get that move done, as you see in the background as well. Rara and Fashion Gold side by side into turn number 1, and Rara up into P5 as Paul, as you mentioned, up into P7 now. Giovanni down into P number 8. And I'm wondering, is there any wing damage on this Haas?
Not too sure. It doesn't look like there isn't any visual damage on Giovanni, but it could definitely just be a slight light green front wing, or I'm not too sure. It looks like he is dropping back a little bit from Paul, but that could be down to tyre conditions, although it's only 2 laps difference.
Ooh, here comes Paul on Fashion Gold. Fashion Gold, they're covering the inside, making sure that Paul could not get the move down. But look at this, the lovely little switch back there from ETA Paul as he's going to go around the outside at turn number 12. This will be brilliant if he can pull it off. And it looks like he's going to be squeezed to the edge of the track. And again, as they go side by side through turns 13 and now through turn 14. And this is brilliant.
No.
They've come to contact and both of them are around. And that's a reset the track. I saw it in the background there from one of them. But yeah, I think potentially Fashion Gold there with a reset the track, which is not ideal. Caught on stream as well. But it was such a good battle, but unfortunately it ended in calamities for the pair of them. As Paul and Fashion Gold now, I mean, Paul is outside of the points, and Fashion Gold holding on to, well, he's now holding on to the final point paying position, but potentially with a reset the track penalty coming his way.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because it was really good racing from the pair of them, and it was just unfortunate that they had to come together at the final corner.
Yep, lap 23 of 33, about to begin lap 24 in just a few moments. Here's Sasha leading the way, Coleman in second place, Ticho now up in P3, Lorenzino all over the back in P4, and the man in the championship lead, he's in P5, so he is limiting the points loss that he's going to be suffering from a couple of these guys as it currently stands, but he could potentially get himself a podium by the end of this race, and that's of course in Rara currently in P5.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good end to the race here for, well, the race win and the final spot for the podium.
Yeah, absolutely, it is gearing up to be a fantastic end to the race and a very good opener to the F4 campaign here in 2024, and a perfect way to get us started, I think, with a very interesting race beginning to mount up. Of course, the battle for the race lead is going to be getting spicy towards the end of this race, and then of course the battle for the podium between these three men of Lorenzino, Ticho and Rara. And let's not forget, if one of them picks up a 3-second time penalty, or if multiple of them pick up 3-second time penalties, Giovanni is there, ready to rate him. But I think he has wing damage here, because he is struggling in this final sector to keep with these guys. And yeah, I think that's wing damage for Giovanni.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's really looking bad, and it was the same for Paul. He was dropping back really far. Of course, he is pit now, but yeah, he was struggling very much in the corners. As the two Mercedes are still fighting away for the final point paying position, although Tiramisu has actually got a penalty, and yeah, they're still just fighting away for the final point spot.
Yeah, the Mercedes Civil War in Spain, of course, we know it well. If you guys remember, I believe it was 2016 with Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg coming together through turn number 4, as I believe there was a bit of a deployment issue on Rosberg's car, and Hamilton going for a gap and getting squeezed on the inside, and both of them making contact there on the run in towards turn number 4. But this type of battle that we want to see by year between these two Mercedes is definitely one that we are looking forward to seeing between Tiramisu and Fashion Gold. And let's not forget, Fashion Gold potentially would have reset the track penalty on his way, because we definitely saw someone reset the track, whether it was Paul or Fashion Gold remains to be seen. As long as you know, re-overtakes Ticho back up into the final podium position. Rara right on the back of these two now though. As a big snap here for Ticho, that's going to allow Rara to go through side by side as they run down in towards turn number 4. The Williams to the inside, and is he going to be able to get this done? As Harrison has rejoined the session after leaving it momentarily. Ticho has to concede and fall back to P5 here in this race. But Rara now up into P4 with little to no ERS available as well. You got Lorenzino currently on 50% ERS. This could be the opportunity for Lorenzino to try and break away here.
Yeah, it could definitely. And the only thing that's potentially gonna stop is the fact that it is still a DRS train for 3rd, 4th and 5th. He will have to use a bit of his deployment to defend against Rara. Rara's just using a DRS, no deployment. Doesn't look like Lorenzino's using any deployment. Rara's going to look down the inside.
Backs out.
Thinks better of it though.
Yeah, and this is where Lorenzino needs to, use a little bit of his battery. Be a bit smart about where he's using it, and now try and build the gap over the rest of the lap so that he can try and pull away from Rara here, because of course Rara with little to no ERS. It's going to allow Ticho potentially an opportunity to come back at him as well. Remember, Rara does have a lap older tyres compared to these two as well, but we know Rara's tyre weight here in Airport has been absolutely sublime so far this season. So there's no reason to think that his tyre wear situation would change going into this new year. But Lorenzino under big pressure now for that final spot on the podium, and if he lets Rara save his battery up, then that's going to allow Rara to really get a firm grip on his P3 in this race.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be quite
Rara.
Difficult.
Rara back down the inside in towards turn number 1. As Lorenzino backs out of it, he does not want to battle with Rara. He'd rather sit, wait, pick his time. But look at that, switch back through turn number 3 as he draws alongside the Williams. Now down in towards turn number 4. Down the inside goes Lorenzino. Job done there for the Aston Martin.
Yeah, there's a little bit of contact. Very slight bit of contact between, Rara on the back of Lorenzino and then Ticho on the back of Rara. All three of them having a little bit of a Constantina effect, but all of them are still relatively close to each other, although Lorenzino and Rara are starting to drop Ticho just a little bit.
Yeah, I think the important thing for Ticho is just saving that battery up. Stick with these guys, save the battery up, and then go for it at the end of this race. That is all Ticho can do right now. As I almost choke on my own words there, but yeah, that is all that Ticho can do right now is try to stay with these guys, close up as much as possible, and save up that battery. As Rara not wanting to go down the inside here. Lap 29 of 33 is still Sasha leading the way. Coolman in P2. Both of these guys on little to no ERS, but both of them well clear of the likes of Lorenzino, Rara and Ticho here. That is becoming a straight dogfight between these two for the race win. As I'm not sure where my co-commentator has gone, but that's also remember, both of these guys in Coolman and Sasha both have a race win to their name. Of course, Sasha won in Hungary round number 3, and of course Coolman won in Austria round number 5. So both of these guys looking for a second race win of the season to join an elite group of drivers with multiple race wins this season. Of course, those drivers being Nico, and that is it. It is only Nico has had 2 race wins so far this season, and that's a very elite club to be joining. As Koolman not going to go for the move on Sasha here, as Rara likewise not going to go for the move on Lorenzino, as now We're on lap 30. The game of chicken, DRS chicken, has begun as Lars has overtaken Giovanni. Giovanni there with the potential wing damage. I mean, we presume it is wing damage because he is really struggling in these corners. But of course, visually, it doesn't look like wing damage to us. But oh, fashion goal at this race, and that's a safety car. Lap 30, safety car at the end of this race, ladies and gentlemen. We could be in for an absolute cracker of a final few laps here, and this is going to be no DRS to save these guys. It's all going to be about who has track position at the right time as they come across the final start finish line to take the checker flag.
If I was anyone in front, I would not risk pitting.
I mean, we'll have to see.
No.
We'll have to see what the leaders do. The lead. Oh, Coolman's in. Coolman is in. He's risked it for the chocolate biscuit.
Sasha's the only person not pitting.
Oh no, heartbreak there for Sasha as everyone comes into the pits. They flood in, and Sasha has been hung out to dry. But obviously, what this does now is it does make these time penalties a lot more crucial now, because obviously
it does.
It was a little bit spread out early on, but now everyone's going to be bunched up together. That 3 seconds that you might have picked up early on has going to have a huge effect, as Frank has stayed out on the mediums and he's going to come out behind Ticho. So ladies and gentlemen, what we have here, we got Coolman looking for his second race win of the season. We got Sasha obviously looking for his second race win of the season. They'll be the only drivers other than Nico to be on 2 race wins this season. We've got Lorenzino looking for his first race win of the season. You got the championship leader Rara, who has yet to stand on the top step of the podium, looking for his first race win of the season. You're looking at Ticho as well. And Ticho, I don't believe has had a race win this season. No, Ticho has yet to have
it's in this lap.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to be out very long. So safety car in this lap, and this could be absolutely huge here. Obviously, the top 5 has bunched up. We assume that Frank, Lars, and Thomas and the likes of these guys will bunch up. Mustache though might be okay. So with Giovanni, but Tiramisu, not Tiramisu, Thiago, potentially going to be hung out to dry here on this restart.
The kind of saving grace here for Sasha is the fact that he's got his teammate in between himself and Coolman. Of course, he is lapped, but he does have Harrison in between himself and Coolman.
Yeah, and we are racing once again, and Sasha has gone, and look at this now. Coolman's just going to quickly dispatch of Harrison up into P. I mean, he's already in P2, but up ahead of Sasha now. Of course, this is going to allow.
Here we go.
In towards turn number 4, Sasha really squeezing Coolman. Look at Lorenzino. Lorenzino's on the curb, and I think a bit of contact with Rara. And look at Ticho. Ticho now up into P3 as it's all kicked off here. Coolman now into the race lead, as Sasha now unfortunately has to try and hold off these guys on the soft tyres for P2. But it's going to be so difficult for him, as look at the grip that Ticho's got. He's on the ERS as he draws alongside the Alfa Romeo. He's going to have to do it the long way, the hard way around the outside. Look for the switch back there. Ticho, fantastic move there from Ticho. Look at Rara in the background as well, around the outside of turn number 12. And allow Rara up into the podium position. Big stop there from Sasha, and that has meant that I think that's caught Lars off guard there. Lorenzino now back up ahead of the McLaren driver, as Coolman, Ticho setting the fastest laps of the race. We're on the final lap of the race now. NLR Coolman looking for his second race win of the season. This will be a fantastic race for him if he's able to pull it off, as we have Rara with the incident that happened earlier in this race. Lorenzino overtaken by Lars here, the battle for P5. Of course, Mustache is there as well, looking for an opportunity to get himself out the order. Look at Giovanni though, down the inside of Mustache into turn number 4. It is all kicked off here on the final lap of the race. but I'm going to revert back up to the front as, oh my god, Sasha absolutely causing a concertina effect as he's being absolutely swamped by everyone. Lorenzino dropping down the order, but back up towards the front. Rara on the back of Ticho. Ticho a little bit too far behind, and look at Tiramisu's out of this race. Tiramisu lost it through turns 7 and 8. I wonder if there was any contact there. I am not sure, but ladies and gentlemen, it looks like NLR Kuhlmann, barring any last minute mistakes, could be on his way to a race victory here in Spain to start off 2024 in the most positive way possible around the final corner for the final time, and it will be NLR Kuhlmann taking victory ahead of Ticho, his first podium of the season for Ticho. Rara with a driver of the day performance in P3. Giovanni, fantastic recovery up to P4. Sasha, heartbreak for him in P5. Mustache in P6. Lars in P7. Frank in P8. Lorenzino, once a podium protagonist, now all the way down at the tail end of the points. My god, what an end to that race that we just had.
Yeah, that was very, very interesting to say the least. And yeah, just going back to that incident that saw Tiramisu go out, it was actually Lorenzino going for a late lunch, outbraking himself, and then getting on the power too early and spinning himself round into the path of Tiramisu. So I have to say that is Lorenzino's fault.
Heartbreak there for Tiramisu, but what a drive for that man on the top step of the podium. NLR Kuhlmann, and of course joined along with him his first podium of the season, Ticho, getting a big result here in Spain. Remember, of course, he was on 2 points coming into tonight's race in the championship, so a huge accumulation of points there for Ticho. But we're running for the order one more time. It is, of course, NLR Kuhlmann taking victory ahead of JR Ticho in P2. NLR Rara, the championship leader, holds on for a final podium position there. Giovanni in P4 with Sasha in P5. Mustache in P6 with Lars in P7. Frank comes through to take P8 with Lorenzino down in P9. Tiago rounds out the final point paying position inside the top 10. Outside the top 10, our finishers were George Ansell, Thomas, Laurenti, Paul, and then our non-finishers were, of course, Tiramisu. Harrison was a lap down, and then our other two non-finishers were, of course, Fashion Gold and, of course, Nico in the end. But my god, what an end to that race that we just had right there. The safety car came out right at the end. It bunched everything up. Sasha getting left hung out to dry by not pitting, while the rest of the field did pit for a set of the soft compound tyres. But an incredible drive for NLR Kuhlmann, and a thoroughly well-deserved race win for him as well. But in my opinion, if I was going to give driver of the day to someone, I'd have to give it to the championship leader, NLR Rara, for a fantastic drive to get himself back into that position. Before the safety car even came out, he was in a podium position, fighting for the podium, I should say, after the incident that happened at turn 1, sorry, not turn 1, after the incident that happened at turn 10 with Nico's unfortunate brake pedal disconnecting, and an incredible drive from the championship leader. It must be said, and it was a champion's drive from him.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was very good from Rara to have that recovery drive, but it's also, you gotta give props to Kuhlmann for getting a race win, but you've also got to feel sorry for Sasha, because he was the only person not to pit for softs, and if he had pit in for softs, then it would have been a completely different story. It might have even been him getting a race win here.
Yeah,
yeah,
potentially. But
it's unfortunate for Sasha, but gotta give props to Kuhlmann.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, throughout the entirety of the second stint, of course, after the first round of pit stops, it was a two-horse race between Kuhlmann and Sasha. The late safety car, though, did spice things up. Sasha electing to not come into the pit stops, and honestly, I think whatever Sasha did, Kuhlmann was going to do the opposite. And I think if Sasha came into the pits, he might have been on the set of the sauce, but I don't think many other people would have been following suit into the pits either way. So, I mean, it's one of them ones where, I mean, hindsight is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful commodity. And I think Sasha will be looking back at this race thinking, what if? But Coolman will be looking back at this race and thinking, I absolutely earned that race win tonight on track. And honestly, it's good points for Coolman. I think potentially that jumps him up into second in the championship, if I'm not mistaken, as I quickly have a little gander at the time, well, at the points. I mean, potentially it'll be very close between himself and Giovanni, I think, on points. But I think both of them have done enough to jump ahead of Nico. Of course, Azim not here tonight, so they'll jump ahead of Azim. No problems there. But yeah, I think Coolman and Giovanni, one of them will be second place in the championship now. But Rara, another podium. And a very good drive, a champion's drive, and just continuing his consistent performances so far this season has put him in that position to be at the top of the table. But ladies and gentlemen, that was a enthralling race here in Spain from the guys here in F4 on the PlayStation tier in PSGL. But let's have a look and see what we have got coming up for you next. Of course, we do travel to Miami for the next race. Round number 9, of course, taking place across in the States is the Miami Grand Prix. An interesting track, a very difficult track, and it's going to be one that will throw out, I think, a bit of unpredictability, like what we had in Vegas, but of course, not as severe as the unpredictability in Vegas. This one should be a very intriguing one, I should say, Quinn.
Yeah, it should definitely be intriguing, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what direction people go with setups, whether they go with more of a straight line speed orientated setup, which will help you in sector 2 and 3, or if they try and optimize downforce, which will massively help in sector 1. It's very interesting to see what people will go with.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, that is next week, round number 9 at Miami. Of course, round number 10 on the 22nd of January, we'll be heading to the home of British Motorsport as we head to Silverstone for round number 10 at the British Grand Prix, and then closing the season out with round number 11 on the 29th at Bahrain. We should, well, I mean, I'm hoping that we go into the final round with the championships still up for grabs, but the gap that Rara currently has in the standings means that he needs to have a bit of a horror show in Miami and Silverstone for people to close up enough to make it interesting into the final round. But that is what we got in store for the final 3 races of the season. Of course, a massive thank you to everyone that has tuned in here tonight. Your support means the absolute world to us. And of course, make sure you guys go ahead and tune in to the action in F1 and F3, which are currently underway right now. Of course, Jess and James taking you through the action in F1, and I believe F3, as I quickly get up the F3 commentary lineup. I think it is, yeah, Logan and Byron going to be taking you through F3, so make sure you guys go ahead and show both of those streams a lot of support. But from us here in F4 is a goodbye. I have been Michael Edwards, he has been Quinn, and we'll catch you next week for round number 9 at Miami. Until then, goodbye.
See you.
He's got the inside, oh, here is through on the left-hand side. Hugs the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.